Well, good morning. Good to be back riding again. Got a little extra light coming from over here this morning. The window is open to let some fresh air in. Cool air, I should say. Well, let's just get ourselves some really light resistance right now. And taking our hands off the bar, let's just sit up nice and tall, just letting our upper body decouple from the lower body. Just let your arms hang to the side. Keep your resistance very low and just pedal very slowly. Just freeing up the joints a little bit. Stacking the weight into our vertebrae. Letting the hips take that weight. Shoulders down. Maybe sense a pulling sensation here in the shoulders, in the neck, shoulders. Let's take our hands now and place them onto the handlebar. And make sure you just set the weight of your hand onto the heel of your hand. Wiggle your fingers a little bit to make sure you're not grasping or really holding on to the handlebars, but rather just resting on them. Their rest spot. Check to make sure that your neck is relatively aligned with the spine. You don't need to overdo it, but just tune in to make sure you have a neutral spine. Neck's aligned with it, so the result is a little gaze out here 10 feet or so. Adjust your resistance so that it remains really light. And let's just come up to around 80 something RPM. And for just a few seconds, let's focus on keeping the hips and the lower body separate from the upper body. What I call the decoupling of the upper body from the lower body when we're cycling. Just think about stitching together your smooth and supple pedal stroke. Add in just a few RPM now. Bring your leg speed up to about 90. If you want, you can think about the ball joints of your hips and the hinge joints of your knees. Moving the fluid around inside of those, coating all those parts, allow you to have a nice smooth joint movement. adding in just a tiny bit of resistance now as you hold your 90 RPM, just a tiny bit. We can start to feel the warmth in the legs coming now. Let's just let our legs slow down for a second. You can just leave the resistance right where it is. Let's shake out our arms, sitting up nice and tall again. See if you can tune into what your heart rate's doing now. Tune into how your muscles feel in your legs. Coming back to the handlebars now, bring your leg speed up to 90 again. Let's start to do a little work. At 90 RPM, shift your gears, add some resistance. So it feels like we're now into exercise mode. Just the tiniest bit of exertion is felt in the muscles of the legs now. We've moved from warm-up into working. And in our minds we should have a visual of a continuum with warm-up on one end and the hardest work we could possibly do on the other end of the continuum. And somewhere along that line there's a little mark where you transition from warm-up to low level of work. And that's where we're at right now, low level of work. Let's take 15 seconds now to align our legs to this rhythm. Keeping your resistance exactly the same. We're going to speed our legs up to 100 RPM. And of course, by doing that, we add a little work. See if you can quantify how much work that feels like in the muscles of the legs. In 3, 2, 1. Simply speed up your legs to 100 RPM, taking care to keep your hips settled nicely on the saddle, decoupling the upper and the lower body. Perhaps you can practice your holding the champagne glass trick right now just to check in to see how relaxed and calm your upper body is. Just a little bit more. If you're having a hard time keeping the speed, that just means you have too much resistance, so you can take a little out. In 3, 2, and 1. Just slow your legs down. Leave the resistance right where it is. I'm noticing my breath is quite elevated from that. Take a moment to gather your breath. Maybe take a drink of water. We're going to ease our way into what feels like a very steep hill. But we're not going to just jump into it. We're going to start and just gradually increase the pitch of the hill. We'll start with a low grade, and then we'll just slowly but surely increase it. So let's first get ourselves into a nice climbing position. As you know, I set my hands to the middle of the handlebars like this in order to get my back more upright, which then allows me to drive more effectively with the lower back and the hips over the top part of the pedal stroke. Super important when climbing. Let's add in resistance. It feels like a low hill. Let's set our pedal speed cadence into the 60s to 70 RPM. Let's just greet this hill right now by noticing this feelings in the muscles of the legs, where we sense it. See if you can feel your hips pushing over the top. Sense it through the heel of your foot. Even this low hill is starting to have an effect on me. I can feel sweat starting to build up. And my heart rate is picking up a little bit too. Perfect. Let's reach down. Make your hill a little steeper, so we went from something like this to something like this. By the end of this, we'll be struggling to turn the pedals, but not yet. Try relaxing your jaw and your neck, your shoulders. As we add just a little more resistance to make the hill steeper, let's concentrate for the next few seconds on that scraping of the mud through the bottom of the pedal stroke. Pulling through with the hamstrings and calves. Now's an excellent time to start thinking perhaps about stitching together this full circle pedal stroke. The hip drive over the top, the quads, transition to the scraping through at the bottom, using the hip flexors to unweight the pedal, then back to the hips, lower back. It's all one. Add a little bit more. Now we're definitely getting into the very challenging. In a few seconds, we're going to stand up. So we're going to have the resistance so heavy that you have to bring your body out of the saddle and onto the pedals. We'll keep our hands light as we do that and be relatively tall in our standing, rather than leaning way over. I'll count us down into it in 3, 2, 1. Add extra heavy resistance. Stand into it, transferring your body weight through the glutes. Ease off, come back into extremely hard seated climbing, and we're almost done. See if you can stay with it. Let's come back to very light resistance now. Good. We're back on flat road. Do a quick assessment of your breathing on a 1 to 10 scale. As we pedal very lightly right now, notice the transformation of the legs from that probably uncomfortable, heavy feeling of the climb. Notice as that starts to go away. Notice as the breath starts to slow in this active recovery we're doing right now. Let's come back to the handlebars. Keep your resistance very light on these freewheel bikes. Make it as light as you can and still be smooth. Let's line our legs with this rhythm. If it helps, you can close your eyes. Just the act of being in line with the music, the act of aligning ourselves with the music is a form of mindfulness, a form of body awareness. Very good for us. In the absence of anything else, still it's good for us. All right, you got your rhythm? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. Let's get ready. We're going deep. We're going to add resistance that we don't think we could hold for 2 minutes. And then we're going to hold it about 45 seconds. On the rhythm the whole time, feeling every muscle engaging, keeping the upper body relaxed. Okay, settle your body into a good position. Do a quick scan of your shoulders, your neck, your arms, elbows are slightly bent. Here we go, in 3, in 2, and 1. Add it in, get it to the point where you feel like you could not hold it 2 minutes. You can see how much work I'm doing now. When I got this kind of work, the bike tends to move a lot. It's a torque. Yet I'm still as relaxed as I can be in my upper body. All right, dial it back down. Keep your leg speed in the 80s. Assess where your breathing is. Maybe compare it to mine. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, my breathing got up to 8 there. And at this lower resistance now, 80 something RPM, it's recovering. I can feel it recovering. Take some water. When you're ready, get your hands back onto the handlebars. Assess where you feel the weight in your hands. Assess your spine and neck. Our level right now is at that very low level of work. We're in exercise mode right now, but the lowest level. I was watching the World Championships, Track and Field World Championships. I just love track and field. And I was just incredibly moved by the performance of Sydney McLaughlin in the 400-meter hurdles. That is a difficult event. And it's the very definition of a sprint. We talk about sprints here as something you could hold for 40 to 50 seconds. And that is the very definition of a sprint kind of effort. The very limits of the human physiology. And yeah, she got 50 seconds. And you can see how tired they are at the end of those. It's just the most the body can do. So we're going to do a sprint. And we're going to get that feeling like I'd be cooked at the end of 45, 50 seconds. We're only going to do the sprint about 15 seconds. But I want you to maybe, if you saw that picture Sydney in the last 100 meters, looking strong. Beautiful form. She skipped a little bit on the last hurdle as she landed, just a little bit, but my word, world record time. Of course she did. All right, are you ready? Full out sprint, 15 seconds, 100 RPM or a little above. Effort you could not hold for 50 seconds in 3, in 2, and 1. Keep your upper body relaxed. Apply the power to the pedals as smoothly as you can. And slow your legs down. Reduce your resistance. I loved her focus at the start of that race too. If you go watch the video of it, as they come up with the camera, in their faces as they're introducing the different runners in each lane. Oftentimes they'll wave, point to their country here, give a thumbs up. She was looking down at the ground, stepping left and right on her feet. She didn't even notice the camera. I love that. Let's come back to our handlebars. Notice what your breath is doing, what your heart rate is doing after that hard sprint. Let's add in a level of exercise resistance. Bring your legs to the speed of this song. Count the rhythm in your head. Together, let's close our eyes if it's comfortable for you. If not, just look out ahead at a point, but let's check in with the tension in our neck, if any. And just visualize coming down your neck and into the rest of the spine there. See that it's all one. Now relax your shoulders, maybe wiggle them around a little bit. You might want to take a hand and drop it down like I do sometimes. Shake out the arm. So we're at exercise level at this rhythm, so our breath is no longer slowing down. In fact, it's picking up a little bit now. I can feel the sweat increasing on my forehead too. My mind is thinking about how smooth can I make these pedal strokes? How relaxed are my hips on the saddle? How decoupled is my upper body? My level of exertion is not so high right now that I'm filled with worry or concern, but I am noticing the heart rate picking up even more. And a little bit of tiredness now coming into my muscles. Slow your legs down for just a second here. Now if your sit bones are tired or sore, feel free to stand up for a second and just take some pressure off them. That's fine. See if you can find the rhythm of this guitar song. Hint. Listen for the bass notes. Just 30 seconds in the steepest possible hill we can handle in seated position. In 3, 2, 1. Use this rhythm. Add that resistance. Steepest you can do. You're struggling to hold the rhythm. This is where you can really feel the glutes pushing if you focus on it. Bring it down to light resistance, bring your leg speed up into 80 RPM. Spin that heaviness out of the legs now. I always feel the heaviness in my legs right here, after a heavy climb like that. Right where my hands are. Allow your body now to just find this rhythm. All the while, practicing good postural awareness. Tuning into the body and its position on the bike, how it interacts, how it interfaces with the bike. So I've got a level of resistance on now that feels like I'm in working zone. More than just barely into working zone. Kind of like if the scale of 1 to 10 is perceived exertion, I'm at about a 5. And you can hear the effect on my breathing. And I can feel my legs starting to get quite tired. Takes a little bit of willpower now to hold this rhythm. which means I'm in that zone of work that takes a little commitment. All right, bring your resistance way down low again. My breathing got up to 8 or 9 that time. So I'm allowing it to recover a little bit right now. We're going to finish up with a 30-second extra heavy standing piece. 30 seconds standing, so make sure you adjust the resistance so it's heavy enough to stand on too, but not so heavy that you can't do it for 30 seconds or so. And our cadence for when we stand will be in the 60s to 70. Find something that works nicely for your body in that range. So it's not an out-of-saddle sprint is what I'm saying. It's like we encountered a short, steep section. Cruising along easily on flat road right now. And just about 100 yards up is that what looks like a wall. I've climbed hills that look like a wall, and you can see it from a quarter mile off, and it's like, oh my goodness. There's one in Bloomington, Indiana that I'll never forget. So intimidating. Just straight up. Okay, let's get ready. We're going to add resistance so it's really heavy and we need to stand into it, but not too heavy that we can't stand for 30 seconds. Let's set our intention to be tall and to pay attention as we step into it through our glutes, side to side, gently side to side, not exaggerated. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Add that in and just ease yourself out of the saddle. Check with your hands, make sure they're nice and light on the handlebars, that your weight is going into the pedals. Bring your resistance down to light and pedal slowly. Beautiful. We're extremely low resistance right now. We're pedaling very slowly, and we're just simply allowing our heart rates to recover and our bodies to begin to cool down. might want to try sitting up like I am, just like we did at the start with the arms hanging down to the side. But instead of paying attention to our heart rate maybe picking up a little bit, we're paying attention to it coming down. This song makes me think of Joni Mitchell for some reason. Which makes me think of her singing again at the Newport Folk Festival with Brandi Carlile helping her along to remember the words to her songs gently, kindly. Amazing. Maybe take a little more resistance out, maybe slow your legs a little bit more. Pay attention to your breath and your heart rate. Let's slowly allow our legs to come to a stop, and as they do, let's sit up nice and tall. Take a couple of deep breaths as we feel the belly expand. And now let's tune into that beautiful feeling of awakeness and aliveness and sense of self-efficacy and accomplishment. And then let's just remember all of the healthy things we just did for our body, all those wonderful exercise-induced little proteins that are released from the working muscles and go all throughout the body. They are now circulating. We did a supplement of them. All right, let's stand up. 3 and 9 o'clock with the feet, and drop your heels to feel a stretch in the calves. And now let's put the back foot to the front. Swing a leg over the bike. Let's stand next to the bike and pull back on the ankle, either leg. And now the other leg. Now let's place one of the legs on the top bar of the bike or the handlebars or seat. It's up to you. Now let's just hold a steady hamstring stretch. And to the other leg. I have to admit, I'm somewhat embarrassed when we stretch hamstrings because I know that I'm not very flexible. I know I should be more flexible. And for some reason, I don't like the way I look when I'm stretching because I don't like it. I'm aware of this. I do it anyway. But I practice a little compassion and self-acceptance when we do hamstring stretches. I feel like I'm good at the quadricep stretches. They don't bother me. Nice ride. Stay cool, drink a lot of water. I'll leave the music going for another couple minutes as you come back to center.